Hey, what's up y'all? I'm Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my homemade coconut pie from scratch. Now, this is very similar to a custard pie. It has coconut milk, eggs, butter, sugar, lots of sugar, vanilla, a little hint of coconut flavor, and once we make the batter, we pour it into a prepared pie shell, which we make from scratch as well, and then we add some flaked coconut on top, place it in the oven, and bake it to perfection. This is a very rich and sweet pie with a nice coconut flavor. It calls for about 10 servings and is absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your homemade coconut pie. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 1 can of coconut milk, sweet flaked coconut, all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, unsalted butter, butter flavored vegetable shortening, large eggs at room temperature, vanilla extract, and coconut extract. Since I have a little bit of that left over, I'm going to use that. And to bake your coconut pie, you will need a regular standard 9-inch round, that's 23 centimeter pie pan. And for the rest of y'all tools, you're going to need a food processor. Now if you don't have that, you'll need a sturdy pastry cutter and a rolling pin. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. So in this food processor, I'm going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 tablespoons, that's 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, cold, and 6 tablespoons of butter flavored vegetable shortening, cold. Now we're going to pulse this until that butter and that shortening is cut into the flour. Okay, and this is how it looks when we're done. Now this took no more than 10 pulses. It could take more depending on your food processor. Everybody's food processor ain't the same, you know. Okay, we transferred our flour mixture into this medium-sized bowl, and to that we're going to add 1/3 cup of cold water. And we're just going to take our spoon and we're just going to stir this until it comes together. Alright, now that our mixture has started to come together, now we could take our hands and we're going to form this into a dough. Alright, that looks good. Okay. Now normally I would wrap this and place this into my refrigerator for about 30 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and just roll this out into a dough right now. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and lightly flour the surface of my table. Now I'm going to add my dough on top of the table, and I'm going to just press it down and form it into a little flat circle. If it kind of seems like it's starting to break apart, you just take some flour and just put it on top of it and just press down. Other than that, you should be okay. Now I'm going to just add a little flour on top. Now we're going to go ahead and roll this out into a large circle. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. Just roll it out until it's thin. Now how to tell if your dough is thin, you'll start seeing some very light transparency. Okay, you'll be able to see kind of underneath the dough a little bit. And that's how you can tell it's thin. And as you can see here, it's way larger than my baking pan, which is good. Very good sign. Now we're going to add a little sprinkle of flour on top of the dough. We're going to place the rolling pin on the edge of the dough, and we're just going to roll the dough carefully onto the rolling pin. Now as you're rolling the dough onto the rolling pin, make sure you take some flour onto the dough as you're rolling it up, so that way the dough will not stick on it to itself. Okay, looks good. See? Alright, now we're going to take our rolling pin and just carefully unroll the dough onto the pie pan. Now we're going to go ahead and take the dough and we're just going to add it into the pie pan. You want to make sure you lift up the edges of the dough. Just add it and press down so that way the dough can fit in there. Now you're gonna go ahead and take your some kitchen scissors and you're gonna trim off the excess. Now I always leave about 1.5 inches. The more you leave on, the thicker the edge of the pie crust will be. So just use your judgment skills in determining how much you want. And you could take the rest of it. You could actually try to see if you can make another pie crust with it. Now we're just gonna form the crust here. I'm gonna just take the edges of the dough and just roll it and tuck it on. Alright, now for the fun part, we're gonna decorate the edge of our pie crust. Now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take my index finger and my middle finger, I'm gonna place it on this side, and I'm gonna push inward. And I'm gonna take my index finger, my pointing finger on the opposite side, and I'm gonna push outward. So, just like that. I like this method. It works for me, you know. There's many different ways you could decorate this. It doesn't have to be perfect either. Now we're going to go ahead and place this in the freezer. It could take about 2 hours for it to be completely frozen, but everybody's freezer is different, so it could take more or less time. So keep that in mind. Alright, now let's get started with our coconut pie filling. So in this medium-sized bowl, we're going to add 1 2/3 cups of coconut milk, 5 large eggs at room temperature, 1 1/2 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of coconut extract. Just take my whisk and I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Make sure you stir it real good. Now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Alright, here we have our frozen pie crust ready to go. So we're just going to pour our wet ingredients right on in there. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to add our flaked coconut right on top. Unspecified amount. Just add that on top. Now I know some of y'all probably thinking, y'all, hey Charlie, I don't want this on top of my pie. Well, you can completely omit the flaked coconut from the recipe. Huh? How about that? I actually like Baker's flaked coconut, but I'm working with an off brand today, y'all. I'm working with what I have. Alright, now it's ready to be baked. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and place our pie into a preheated 350 degree oven on the bottom rack. And I'm going to let y'all know the baking time once it's done. Alright y'all, it's been about an hour. Now this is how our pie looks when it's done. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. If you tap the pie pan onto the sides, you can tap it on top as well. And if the middle section of the pie jiggles slightly, or if it doesn't jiggle at all, then your pie is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this cool completely. It's still in the middle of the day here for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool overnight, so that way the flavors can settle and increase. Now it's time to go eat and take a bite. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, this is extraordinary. It's so good. It has a nice coconut flavor. Then you have the flavor from that toasted coconut on top. Oh my goodness. And it's a really rich, sweet pie. It's really good. So, give the recipe a try. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. I have an official website for all of my recipes, including this fabulous homemade coconut pie recipe. You can go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. I'm also on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie Cook Andrews. So until next time, take care, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.